Welcome back to Prairie Farm, Michigan. It's episode 2 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9 PM, just got 9 PM, here on Prairie Farm. My sprayer, well, let's just say we've got some things we need to do. My money's gone up. I know a lot of people in the comments, it was an interesting one. People are very polarised by this one, and I don't know why. I did my Stone Valley series, and people loved it. I loved it. I've gone from doing a series where I'm doing sort of smallish machinery, start from scratch, working my way up. And, well, I suppose like everything, you can't please everyone, and you never will. So when I said about maybe not doing productions on this, people were saying, then it's all just about the money. Well, all of them are, because you're trying to earn money to buy new equipment and machinery and stuff like that. This one's going to be too easy to make money, but like I said in the last episode, it might be easier to make money. The fields are massive. I've done the 2 harvest contracts, you've already seen that. That should have been... yeah, both those should be on there. And I've done the first of 3 fertilising jobs that I took on. So once I've done the 2 harvest contracts, I then filled those 2 slots with fertilising contracts. So I grabbed my fertiliser spreader. Sorry, it's dark, isn't it? And I grabbed some of the concentrate. It's taken me over an hour to do the first field with this rig. The capacity is not particularly big, and the span of the sprayer is not particularly big. It's taken me quite some time. So I'm upgrading this now because I've got 2 more contracts to do. So the first of the 3 has gone. So what I've replaced that with is a cultivating contract that came up. I've borrowed the equipment. Again, it's a fairly big field. That's the one of the ones we harvested. That's going to take a while. So these are our 2 fertilising jobs. But the other thing I've got to do now as well, I have used all my fertiliser. It's all gone. So what we need to do is come into here. Oh, that was something I was going to say. Look, all this used vehicles and equipment, don't need that, don't need that. So I might buy them, repurpose, sell them on. Same with that. I suppose I could upgrade, couldn't I? Go to a newer Anthem rather than the one we've got. It will need to do. It will need some work, but 44 grand. That's just a good point. What's ours worth? Where's our Mack truck Superliner? It says it's worth. Does it say 90 or 30? That says 90 grand. So ours is worth 90 grand and has got 500 horsepower. If we upgrade immediately to that, that will go up to 505. What's that offering at the moment? That says 425. If I go up to the 505, adds 26 grand on. Takes it to 72, but then we'll get that money back on the other one. So we could upgrade to a newer one straight away. That's probably not a bad idea, is it? We're upgrading our gear already, people. Upgrade and trade. Anyway, that being said as well, in here, from the 2 canola contracts we did on the big field just to the south of us that I started at the end of the last episode, and the one that was just up there, we have got an absolute load left over. Let's jump in. Start up, lights on. Look. That's crazy. 78,000. Are we full? No, not full. 97%. Yeah, we've got an absolute load. So we're going to put this into the silo. Now I could sell that immediately, but that's left over from a contract. So at the end of the day, I'll keep it. And if we want to do something with it, we can. If we want to sell it on, we can. So I dump that into there straight away. In the morning, we're going to crack on with this. And in the morning, once the fertilising, because I'm going to carry on through the night. GPS is, honestly, what I would have usually done when it gets to night time, you can't really see what you're doing, you can't see where you're spraying, you can't keep on your lines. The GPS keeps your operation at 24 hours. I didn't really do it much on Riverbend Springs, but on here, I reckon, I mean, to be fair, I do like this. I think they're a lovely looking truck. But we might as well upgrade. I think we'll gain a little bit of horsepower, but we'll have a newer vehicle. Or should I just leave this? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what to do, really. Let's switch to the back tank on that. Do that. There we go. Everything's going to get a jet wash in the morning. The harvester, we put some hours on our gear. Like I say, that's got over an hour on it already now, just from doing one fertilising contract. And then, what are we on here? This definitely is jet washing. We'll get the jet washer out in the morning. I don't need to do it now. What are we looking at hours on this? What are we on? 7. Ah, okay. Mind you, these had some hours on already, didn't they? Because I'm pretty sure the white has already got some hours. I didn't even think to look at that. I'm sure this has already got some hours on it. Oh, 0.5. That's weird. I thought that was showing... I thought it was showing more than that. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, so we've got some stuff to do in the morning. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just whiz over, once we've unloaded the canola, I'm going to whiz over to the store. Oh, that's what I was going to say. If we go into here, I'm going to get the Amazon. I don't think I've used one of those before, so I'm going to get a trailed one instead. Much larger tank capacity. This doesn't have a horsepower requirement, so I should just be able to put it with what we've got. 5,200 litre tank. Couple that with the tank we've got already. If I upgrade that to the 40 metre, that's 100 grand. And this is what I'm talking about. So, yes, we are making money. Of course we are. But to upgrade, I mean, you know, say that'll do 40 metre spread, 5,200 litre tank. It's not self-propelled, so I'm going to need a vehicle to tow it. But that will help us with spraying, whether it's herbicide contracts or fertilising contracts. Absolutely awesome. Am I going to switch up at some point to a solid fertiliser rig? Am I going to go slurry or manure? Potentially. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do next. If we go for that as well. Plus, we're going to, I'll say, trade the other stuff back in. But what I was going to say was, if we go for a self-propelled, 317 grand, 420 grand. So upgrading that to a 40 metre, that goes out to a 36. That one does go out to a 54. But for a 40 metre, it's going to cost me 100 grand. I think that's probably, that makes sense to me. Anyway, keep on narrow tyres. Trailer hitch, yes. Just in case we want to, if we would need any more capacity, I suppose we could put a little tank behind it with some fertiliser in if we needed to. I'll see how we go, because like I say, the fields are massive. With the rig I've got already, so let's make sure I buy that, not lease it. Let's buy that for 100,000. And the good thing with that, again, same as I did when you're doing smaller equipment, I can do 3, maybe 4, I think it might take 4, fertilising jobs, and that will pay for it. It will pay for the spreader, which is what you do when you're doing smaller stuff. If that thing cost me, you know, that rig on the back there might cost me 3 grand, couple of fertilising contracts, and I've paid for it. It works exactly the same way. It's just on a different scale, that's all. So, yeah, you know, and like I said right before, on the first episode, I don't know how many episodes we're going to do on it. I might do 2, I might do 6, I might do 10. I honestly don't know at this moment. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Open the cover, and dump on there. Are we on front or rear tank? Front tank. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Like I say, I might decide, because I'll be honest, that's one of the reasons I'm upgrading now, and it's night time. With that smaller rig, I thought, no, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to do what I was doing. And I thought, I've got 3 fertilising jobs to do, and the first one took me an hour. I think one of the fields is even bigger. So I'll be looking at potentially 3 hours, if not more, which doesn't bother me. Like I said before, I'll sit with an audio book on, bit of music, whatever. I'm happy to do that. But the thing about doing a farm on this scale is if I'm going to do contracts off camera, I'm looking at a lot of hours in between each episode of off-camera work. But again, I did the same thing on Riverbend. When I did that day when I did all the wood transport jobs, I can't remember what I earned, 100,000. It took me hours. I just sat I think the same thing. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I just sat and did contract after contract after contract, and I was happy as Larry. So like I say, it's just a different scale, that's all. Am I going to upgrade this lorry? You'll see in the morning. I haven't decided yet. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this back over. I've unloaded what I had in there. That, again, I'll get to it in a minute, won't I? So what I was going to say was, I've run out of concentrate. And I thought I'd buy some more, but they're out. They haven't got any in stock. So what we're going to go with is liquid fertiliser, Helm or Corteva. I don't mind. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same to me. 2,000 litre tanks. I'm going to go for... Ours is a 5,200 litre with the front tank as well. That'll give me 6,000 litres. Let's go with that to start off with. I might have to buy some more. Now, it's expensive, you know. Rather than using concentrate, which is a much cheaper alternative, buying it at normal price, and you know, if there was a silo or somewhere I could get it from that, that's 9,600. Now that might only do one field, but if the field contract is paying 36 grand, 40 grand, 9 grand of that, I'm still making a profit, just not as much as I would do if I was using concentrate. Now am I going to go back to using concentrate? Potentially. I do that thing I've said many times before. When I'm buying products, whatever it is I'm buying, whether it be solid fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, herbicide, any of the consumables that you can purchase, why would you pay through the nose for something if you can get it cheaper? Now, when I've used the concentrate before, I used it on Spakovo and I used it on Riverbend, and a lot of people saying it's cheating, and I'm going to say it again, it's not cheating. Concentrate exists in the real world. I'm not doing something dodgy. The mod is there as well. I can go and I can buy concentrate. I can then top that with water, which dilutes the concentrate, makes it into the liquid fertilizer or the herbicide, and off we go. And it's way, way, way cheaper than, like I say, if I did concentrate, I would not have spent 9,600 on liquid fertilizer. I probably would have spent a grand maybe. Why am I going to spend 9,600 when I can spend a grand? Why, you ask? To appease people that are watching. So I can say, look, I can do it genuinely. I can buy the bulk stuff and you can still make a profit. But if you're trying to maximize your profits, you're going to try and find cheaper consumables, aren't you? I mean, that's common sense. So this is the gear I've got for that contract for cultivating. I think what I might do for this one, I might hire a worker. So I can get, actually I could set that off now, couldn't I? So I could get that running on a worker while I'm doing fertilising, which I think is not a bad idea. So with the front tank on that, oh, that's the point, I've got to do, mustn't forget, switch to the rear. Let's disconnect that. And I'll say, while we're here, this has got a rear trail hitch, hasn't it? Yeah, of course it has. I know it's dark, sorry. I do like to say, because it's not, I mean, I'd say it's dark. I do like it when you've got this kind of moonlight thing, when it's dark, but not so dark that you can't see. There's enough moonlight, the stars are out. We're okay. So if I hook up to that, it's a big bit of kit, but the tractor should have enough oomph for it. Let's start filling up with what we got there. With the front tank as well. This will give me a lot more scope. I've got a wider boom now at 40 metres. We should be able to get our herbiciding and fertilising contracts done quicker, more efficiently, but we've now got a bigger piece of equipment. Like I said earlier, am I going to go to a self-propel one at some point? Maybe. The other thing as well, which was weird, and again, I'm just addressing stuff. I've got some other stuff to talk about later on as well. I've got some really, really cool news. Not really necessarily, well, maybe potentially related to the channel per se, but it is pretty cool. It's something I talked about a long while ago, which I say I'm being cryptic, but I'll explain later on. Yeah, I've had oh, what was I going to say? Oh, I've done it again. Lost my thread. Doesn't matter. I'll come back to my thought. It was about big equipment and stuff like that. Oh yeah, about, you know, coming on here and having some equipment already. I didn't come to this farm here and it had all the equipment and machinery that the start farm usually starts with. It didn't have all of that. It had some equipment and machinery which will need replacing. Now, if I keep doing, like people said, oh, but you know, you talk about going on to maps that are more detailed and maps that add immersion, that make you feel more immersed in, a lot of people prefer a start from scratch series. The problem with the start from scratch series, especially if I start off with small machinery and equipment, and like I did with Riverbend, I did 44 episodes, 43, whatever it was. I was there a year, I did a ton of stuff. The only reason I got the Xerion was because it was dirt cheap. But because the map didn't allow for really big machinery and equipment, it wasn't really set up for that kind of thing. If I keep doing Start From Scratch series on maps that are packed with fences and hedges and that, which I love, don't get me wrong, I love that style of map, I never, ever myself get to use the big gear. I never get to scale up. I never get to use multiple harvesters. I never get to run multiple sugar beet harvesters. I never get to run, yeah, like I said, just none of the big equipment. For me personally, I then miss out because I don't get to play with all the cool big toys, which I want to as well. So coming onto here is my opportunity to do that. I get to enjoy myself as well, I don't know. I just think it's, yeah. Like I say, you can't please everyone, and I understand people get frustrated. And I'm not sure where the trigger is here. Is it by the door? It might be by the door. Maybe it's not by the door. Is it by here? This is. Oh, there we go. By there. Right. So, is it still free to repair and stuff? What are we on? 143256. Looks like it. Strange. Okay, let's sell that. But what we can do then, like I said, let's go to here. We have got enough money to get that. I don't want any extras on it though. Take that off. Let's buy it for 135915. I'm just curious to see what kind of profit margin there might be on this. Obviously there's going to be profit margin because it's because the way that all the systems work at the moment, I'm assuming in the next update this will get sorted. I don't know why it's doing it, but it is. And like I say, I'm not going to use this tractor. We've got the white, and that's got enough oomph. I mean, I could swap the white for this, maybe. But I don't... No, I'll keep the white. So, let's repair. Repaint. Sell for 152. There we go. Made a bit of profit, why not? So yeah, I'm going to have a think about the lorry. But what I'm going to do is get the lights on. I can get this running. And because I'm, again, because I'm contract obsessed, and I am, I always have been. Can't help it. Again, I get to use all this equipment and machinery, I'm still getting to use stuff when I do contract work. There seems to be this weird sort of divide where people seem to think if you're doing contracts, it's not farming. I'm still doing all the different farming jobs, just contracting them. Yes, I don't own my own stuff. A lot of people have been saying, why don't you do a series where you do no contracting at all? And I've said that before. That's fine. But if it's start from scratch, how do I make any money? Oh, this is getting beyond a joke now. No, I can't get to the field because these buffoons have decided to have a collision. There's a lot. I said this before. There's a lot of traffic. Okay. He's indicating into someone. Brilliant. How can I get around this? This is not good, is it? Can I get around this? And then once I've got this up and running, I can go into mini spraying. Yeah, I don't know. I have no problem with doing contracting. It's part of the game. Like I've said many times before, there are plenty of farmers that are just contractors. Can I get past that ditch? Oh no. Oh. That are just contractors. That's what their farms do. They are contract farmers. It's not unusual, and I'm not sure why people are so opposed to it. It's it's part of the game, contract work. Oh, yeah, we'll be alright now. There we go. Wow, look at that. I'm sure that'll clear itself at some point. Weirdly, the field that I harvested, the big field just south of the farm, I literally finished doing the harvest on that, went on to do my fertilising job, came back down the road to refill with concentrate, and there was already weeds in it. The field was jammed full of weeds. I'd literally just done it. Very strange. Anyway, now I've got to be careful here. The worker shouldn't do it if I hire a worker. But that field to the left is ours. That's our cornfield. I've got to be careful. Workers shouldn't damage other fields. I say shouldn't. Let's hire a worker and let's see what happens, shall we? Worker hired. Where are you going? Somewhere else. Middle first, maybe? This is going to take a while. and it's going to charge me a fair bit for worker fees, but we're going to make a fair bit of money on the contract, so it's well worth doing. I know I've chatted a lot. I know I've said a lot of stuff in the morning. Like I say, I'll see you in the morning now. Yes, we'll have a bit more money. We've got some bits and bobs to do. We've got a lot more equipment and machinery to buy. I want to get a baler in the morning because the field to our right is ours. Obviously, you can't see it particularly well in the dark. We are going to harvest that and leave the straw swath behind. And I think I'm going to do bales. I'm going to get a baler anyway. I'm going to get a baler wrapper. And I think I'm going to use that baler. Was it baler add-on? What was it called? Gave you, means literally slightly wider pickup, but allowed you to unload partial bales as well. I think I'm going to go for one of those because that, to me, yeah, that would be perfect because then we haven't got to leave stuff in balers and stuff like that. So this is going to crack on now and get on with doing the cultivating. Hopefully that doesn't go over my cornfield. It shouldn't do because I've hired a worker. I'm going to go and get on with the rest of the fertilising jobs. If we click back on here, what's interesting as well I found is that cultivating job is saying 2 hours 38. Now that came up fresh, and what normally happens is you'll get, as the contracts come up, like that one says 57 hours, that says 56. It seems that any of the field work contracts are only going up to midnight. So even the new one that popped up, the cultivating one, popped up fresh and it said 3 hours and 4 minutes. So these, I think, will all disappear at midnight. So I'm going to just do the ones I've got. We'll get these done. Cultivating's got a worker. I'm going to get 2 fertilising jobs done with the new fertilising rig we've got. And then we'll, I mean, I don't know if I'll come back and refill. But even if I have to refill, both those together comes in at, what, 74,000. If I have to pay 18 grand on fertiliser, I've still made a nice big profit. It's just the time involved. So anyway, I'll see you in the morning for some jet washing, some tidying, some harvesting, new baler, a whole load of stuff. Looking forward to it. I'm loving it. Like I say, however you feel about it, that's up to you. If you don't want to watch this series, that's also up to you. I'm having a great old time because I'm getting to use big stuff. It's September 1, 6:33 in the morning. Oh, it's a misty one, isn't it? The GPS, I mean, come on. I worked through the night. We're up to 380,000. And that is awesome. But that money will disappear in a blink. We did throw some gravel down yesterday. Because I said we're more than likely to come from the store straight through here than we are to go round the roadway or left or right. Well, yeah, it just makes more sense, doesn't it? So throw a bit of gravel down. Just saves the grass a bit. I'm a bit concerned here because our lorry, when we turn, we do go wider than the turning there and we come out a bit. We might end up damaging the grass. So I don't want to just throw some gravel down. We'll just allow that to do whatever it's going to do. So anyway, I said in the morning, we're going to get a fresh, clear look at all of our gear, and yeah, it is absolutely filthy. So what we're going to do, get stuff cleaned off. Harvester, we're going to start on our field now. We have actually got harvesting contract came up there, look, 42 grand. A bit of spinach. It's a fairly big field. I say fair, I mean, it's a fair size. I'm just thinking the size fields I did on Riverbend compared to the size field on here, how long it took me to do those peas, spinach, you know, green beans. With the harvester that you get, it was insane. I mean, it took a ludicrous amount of time. So I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up. Spraying, that one we can do because we have got herbicide concentrate. So I might do that. We can accept that contract straight off the bat, which is great. But yeah, what we're doing now, the rest of the episode probably, I'll probably do jet washing all this, couldn't I? Is our harvest here. Now we have also got available, go to our field here and we go to growth. Our sugar beet field is ready to go. So I have a dilemma. We have got a sugar beet harvester. I haven't got enough to buy a new sugar beet harvester. But I'm going to do this field here now, and we're going to bale it. I am considering as well whether or not we need to try and get something, whether we can fill this in. I don't know if we can fill it in actually. Whether we can landscape it, fill it with earth, smooth it. Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe we could try it. But what I'm trying today as well is more test time. is there is a bale and pallet storage building, which I mentioned, which is just behind us. We went over and had a look. Holds 600. Now, actually, what we'll do, let's go with jet washing while we're doing it. On 22, there was always that thing, because obviously there's a bale limit on console. There's a cap in the local area of how much we can actually have. And actually, let's jet wash this first, then we'll go and sell stuff. Yeah, there's a... Whoa, I'm flickering in and out of existence. Yeah, there's a limit of what you can have. And the thing about it was, bale and pallet storages kind of helped with that limit. Or sometimes, see, on Edgewater, I had a few people on 22 message me saying the bale things, it's just not working. If you bought bales, you could go past the bale limit and it didn't matter. It was if you made your own bales on the map. Once you hit the limit, it didn't like it unless you sold some. Now, the thing about bale storage was that was supposed to sort of negate that. So you put your bales in bale storage, and the one we've got here I think does 600, which means we can go way beyond the bale limit that's allowed. But the problem then became, if you put 600 bales in there, it wouldn't then let you take any bales out, because it was saying you've made too many bales, you need to sell some first. But you couldn't sell them because you couldn't take them out, so it became something of an issue. So I'm not sure if that's a thing still or not, because I don't want to spend ages baling that field and then finding I hit the limit and I can't make any more. If I put them in storage, I then can't take them out of storage until I sell some first, which I won't be able to do because I'm at my limit. Then we run into a dilemma. Then we're in a bit of a sticky situation, to say the least. What do we do? So I'm not sure. We're going to have to give that some thought. I guess the only way around that would be I'd be putting some money in. Why are we flickering in and out of existence? I've had that before. Are we a shadow person? Do we only exist in the shadow? I mean, this is going to get filthy again, but at the end of the day, preventative maintenance, people. Get up in the morning after working right most of the way through the night, although the harvester wasn't, but we did put a bit on this yesterday. Jet wash everything off so we can get to all the grease circs. Make sure we can check all the bearings, make sure nothing's caught up anywhere, nothing's broken, flapping, we haven't snapped any teeth, you know, that kind of stuff. I know, but it's, you know, it's always nice to start the day with fresh, clean machinery. I'll do the same with the lorry in a moment. So what I'll probably do, you don't need to see me jet washing all the gear, but I got the gear jet washed. What I did was, actually, you know what, let's go over and do that now. I've jet washed, I mean, that's probably done with it. So it looks cleaner. Let's put that on there. Right. Let's go across the store, although I think I'm going to need... Actually, let's grab the white. Definitely need to change the tyres on the white. I don't think the twins are a bit monstrous. Monster. Maybe. Oh, yes. We've got some stuff to talk about, and we've got a whole lot of stuff to do. I said I was going to buy a baler, so we're going to go and do that. We'll take this over. I did swap out the lorry. I mean, I was going to, wasn't I? I mean, it was kind of... It was a given, wasn't it? Don't know, maybe not. Is it worth me getting the harvester running already on a worker? But I think it might fill up quite quickly, so I'm not sure if it's worth... Oh, we'll get it all done in time. Don't worry. This does need a jet wash. It's filth. Now, I've got a dilemma as well. I've got lots of dilemmas. Yeah, we swapped out. We've gone for the Anthem, which is quite cool. So, yeah, the thing about it is, in the used vehicles gear, look, the Katana's there. Still there from yesterday. Which is 282 grand. If I buy that, I haven't got enough to buy the baler I want to get, which means I'd have to do a contract or two before I could do that, but I need the baler, to be fair. I could sell all the canola I've got. That would be an option too. But I was thinking of that, because we can use that. We've got a cornfield that's not ready yet. We could do half the field harvested it for corn, then the other half silage harvest it. So we could use that. We'd own our own forage harvester. But we could also use that as a forage wagon if we get a trailer, because those new headers came out which allow you to pick straw up off the floor with your forage harvester without using the FluffyMods, you know, the forage pickup header. You can use the actual forage harvester. So do I buy the forage harvester and use it for both as a forage wagon pickup header, but I can also then use it for doing all crop work or silage work, 39% off is a really good deal, isn't it? I just don't know whether or not I'll be shooting myself in the foot by not doing it. Anyway, if we come down to here, we're going to go to this. So this is in the round baler plus. Have a bit of a fiddle around that. Do I want the baler end turner on? Yeah, let's put it on. Why not? Why not? I'm going to leave the tyres the same. Not bothered about that. What a wrap. Did I change the colour of the wrap? Oh, I'm going to leave it white. I'll leave that as it is. Now, am I fiddling around with the colours on this, or do I leave it John Deere? I haven't decided. I'm going to fiddle around with this. This is what I'm going to buy. This gives me the ability. It's got like a slightly wider header, like pickup header. So it'll pick up wider swaths, bigger swaths. It's not going to go out to like 10, 15, 20 metres, none of that. It is slightly wider. And it also allows you the ability to unload partial bales as well, which only cotton harvesters normally allow you to do. So that's why I'm going for this. So let me have a fiddle around with this. We'll get that. I'll have to give some thought about that forage wagon, forage harvester. Not sure what I want to do there. Almost done jet washing the bits and bobs. I'm going to jet wash today. What I have done then is the harvester. The baler is just over there, which I'm going to grab in a moment. I'm going to need another tractor, 100%. Like I say, it looks like, yes, you've got a ton of money. We've just bought the baler. I'm definitely going to need a bigger tractor, at least one more, if not another. We're going to need, I've got no planters, I haven't got enough money. What I've done is emptied the fertilizer from this and jet washed and sprayed this. I'm thinking I might get another tank for the back. Some of these fields are really big, so I might have to adjust this rig potentially to take more. So we can swap that out for herbicide for that spraying job. Lorry's done, that's over, that's all sprayed and cleaned, ready to go. I was going to take that on the field and I thought, no, we've got the Hall Master, why don't we use this? I don't think technically this tractor has got enough, should have enough horsepower, but anyway. The harvester has gone round. I did hire a worker while I was doing all these jobs, and we've got one full load already. We are a bit misty at the moment, and hopefully that's going to burn off fairly soon. Oh, it's missed some bits to come back and do that. I assume it's going to do that round all of the posts. Yeah. Okay. That'll be a mop up at the end, I think. Blimey. That's the problem when it's misty. I can't see how far the field goes. Whoa. Okay. I think there might be, this certainly isn't fertilised. We've come to the field with this and this is not fertilised. I don't think there's weeds in it, but it hasn't got any fertiliser on it, so it's not going to be the best yield it possibly could be. That being said, it's a massive field, so the yield's going to be okay, you know? Not horrendous. I'm really, really dreading now doing that sugar beet harvest. It's that thing of, oh, look at it, we've got a self-propelled sugar beet harvester, it's huge. And it is, until it disappears into the sea of sugar beet that we've got on that field, because the field's absolutely massive. Can we turn tight enough? Oh no, that gone on someone else's. Can I just get up far enough without damaging too much? I was hoping I could back this in. Oh, just a tippy-toe over into next door's field. They won't mind. Right, so now we can start talking about the cool stuff. Now, it depends whether I put it on the thumbnail or in the title. And I am, this is awesome news. It is fantastic news. It may not be awesome news to everybody. And people might say, oh, it's clickbait. It's not clickbait at all. It is awesome news. I am absolutely hyper and over the moon about this. It's not farming. No, I suppose it's not technically, but it is actually in a way, weirdly. Now, everyone knows my obsession with the Lake District, and I've talked about my, not obsession, because that sounds really bad. I do like a real ale, and I've talked about the Jennings Brewery before, right? So the Jennings Brewery in Cockermouth in Cumbria, and this is the weirdest story and coolest thing ever, I think. So it all began back in 1828, I think it was, with John Jennings up in the Lake District. Bought a brewery in a place called Lawton, which is actually just up the road from Cockermouth. And then I think 5, 6, maybe even 7 years later, buys the Castle Brewery in Cockermouth, which then became Jennings Brewery. Let's turn that on. Hi, the worker. Go on. Don't be silly. Mind the way. Okay, I'll get the way. Needs to back up, doesn't it? Yeah, so buys the Castle Brewery, which becomes Jennings Brewery. And the Jennings Brewery, the Castle Brewery, has a castle right next door, and it has a well. And the Jennings Brewery uses the well water for producing the beer. It's Cumbrian water, it's all, you know, top quality schmutter, as they say. So obviously there's a lot more history between like I think it was 1874, was it 1828, 1874? Yeah. Why did I say 5 years later? Oh no, I remember what it was. No, 1828 was when they've got the brewery in Lawton, the Jennings Brewery. Then in 1874 they buy the brewery in the Castle Brewery in Cockermouth, but they keep the Lawton one open for another 5 years. I think that was how that worked. Anyway, all that being said, so they're using the well water. Now, my interaction with the Jennings Brewery is on our honeymoon, right? So myself and MrSealyp, 1995, we go off on our honeymoon. I've never been to Lake District in my life. MrSealyp's family are from the Lake District. She's got 2 cousins, both of whom I've spoken about before, and she spends most of her summers in the Lake District as a kid growing up with her family, her cousins, and awesome stuff. So I go up 1995, first time ever, and part of our honeymoon experience, MrSealyp says, we'll go to Jennings Brewery. We can do a brewery tour. We can go around, you know, which we did. We bought a mirror. We got a Jennings Brewery mirror in our dining room. That's, you know, which has been there 30 years this year. 30 years we've been married, which is crazy. So anyway, this is the baler I ended up with. This is what I went with colour scheme wise. Not too far off the real thing, but I went for a more metallic-y chassis and top section rather than all green and yellow. Anyway, that being said, so yeah, we do the brewery tour. I fall in love with Jennings beer, and one of the beers I love more than anything else in the world is Snecklifter. They do one called Cock-a-Hoop. I was going to say Snecklifter, and Snecklifter is a fairly dark beer. I've said many times before, it had this flavour, and loads of pubs up in the Lake District served Jennings beer because it was a Cumbrian brewery, it was Cumbrian beer. It's kind of almost like a brown sugar, just, oh, incredible beer, absolutely loved it. So we go back over the years, and I think we did the brewery tour 3, maybe 4 times, I suppose. One of the last times we did the brewery tour, they were talking about the fact that Marston's, which is by this time a very big company, and have got a brewery in Burton-upon-Trent, Burton-on-Trent, whichever you want to say. Marston's have bought out Jennings Brewery, and there's a lot of concern. People are worried that because Marston's are a big company, they're becoming one of these kind of big conglomerates, corporation type things. I didn't reset my baler, did I? What bale size have I got this set on? Actually, to be fair, the bigger the bale size, the better, isn't it? I would rather have it on a large size. That way we've got less bales in total. So I'd rather have big capacity bales. These won't be 11s, will they? But they'll be a fair size. That's cool. Yeah, so I'll bale all this and we'll collect it and take it off. So yeah, Marston's have bought them out, and there's all this concern. And Marston's are adamant, because I think at this point Marston's own Witchwood Brewery. They own quite a few different sort of smaller breweries, not micro breweries. That's a different thing, but breweries. We're going to leave them alone. We're going to invest. You know, so initially Marston's invested 250 grand, I think it was, to do some work and to bring some stuff a bit more modernised, I guess, that kind of thing, which is great, and everyone's over the moon. You know, Marston's are keeping to their promise and blah blah blah. And this is in, I think, 2005. Marston's bought them, 2004, something like that, early 2000s, 2004, 2005. And everyone's quite happy, you know. It's like brilliant stuff. They're not going to muck us around. They are going to keep us open. They've invested in the company. Why would you invest 250 grand then close the place? It makes no sense. And to be fair, the brewery kept brewing beer for quite a long time. Then there was an announcement that they were changing the line of beers, and Marston's had decided that in their lineup of beers, and this is a lineup overall, so of all the breweries they own, The Marston's people, they'll go and look at a shelf in a supermarket and they'll say, okay, we have got in our range light, amber, hoppy IPAs, right the way through to sort of ruby beers in the Ruby Hobgoblin, that kind of thing, which would right through to darker beers, things like Snecklifter and that kind of thing in your with Jennings. But also I think Hobgoblin did a darker, or Switchwood did a darker beer, one of the other ones did as well. So what they look at is we're looking at our range of beers, and if Jennings Snecklifter is selling way more than any of the others, we need to balance it. So they decide at different breweries are going to stop brewing different beers so that their range across the shelf looks more balanced. So Jennings get told no more Snecklifter, which is nuts because the beer was amazing. But yes, they stopped brewing it. I'll get to the point. I'm just excited, and there's a whole backstory to this, isn't there? So so they stopped brewing it, you know, and everyone was a bit concerned at that point. It's like, okay, this is odd, this is weird, you know. Then they announce a bit further down the line, I think they got as far as, might have been 2020, I'm trying to think, Marston's merge with Carlsberg, which is Carlsberg Tetley, which, you know, Carlsberg is another one, absolutely massive company. Carlsberg owns Erdinger, Skoll, it owns Tetley. I mean, they've just brought Britvic now, I think it was 2024. They're a massive company. So Marston's were big, now it's Carlsberg Marston, huge company. They decide we're going to stop brewing at the Jennings Brewery Castle site altogether. We're going to bring the recipes to Marston's at Burton-upon-Trent, and the beers will be brewed there. And they shut the place. They shut the Jennings Brewery. They're going to keep it open as was it not a transportation hub, something like that. It was a bit weird. So by 2022, bang, Jennings is shut. Since 1828 or 1874 on that site, but Jennings Brewery is now closed. And I know it's that weird thing, isn't it? It's the sign of the times. It's the world we live in, and there are pubs and bars and breweries and restaurants and stuff closing all the time. But this big industry thing, and I know it's that kind of, I'm not going to get into all the controversies of big pharma, big this, big no. And what I say about it being farming related, I think the father of John Jennings was a maltster. It was that he made malt for brewing, and then his son then started a brewery. What was great about the Jennings Brewery was all the stuff that was left over, so all the hops, all the stuff that had been used, the mash and all that, would come out of a big pipe into a trailer out the back, and the local farmers, or a local farmer, would come and grab the trailer and they would use it for feed. It would go into feed mixes and stuff like that, which I thought was brilliant. So, you know, the barley came off the field, it got malted, you know, and there was all the hops and all stuff. That all has to be grown, you know, it's all interlinked. The fact that went, it really affected an industry, you know, a whole industry, not just that. So, cut to Friday. Myself and MrSealyp go on our Harry Potter experience in, you know, the town we live in. The Warner Brothers studio is in the town we live in, and we went years and years ago, but the kids for MrSealyp's birthday last year got her tickets to go to the Harry Potter World, Harry Potter experience at Warner Brothers Studios. She had a year to use her tickets and we hadn't used them, and her birthday's coming up in April, so she booked to go. So off we go Friday, and we had the best day. I mean, we're both Harry Potter nuts. She loves the Fantastic Beasts stuff, and it was just phenomenal. We had a great, it was lovely, the two of us being out, and we got there early. We stopped at the cafe and we had, you know, coffee and cake, and we chatted and we walked around, and it's one of those places that if you're even slightly into Harry Potter, you haven't got to be a complete, you know, Harry Potter fanatic, but it makes you feel like a child. That awe and wonder, I've said that before about never lose that, you know. It was just phenomenal, and there was so much more stuff than there was the first time we went, and it was brilliant. We had the best time. So MrSealyp had posted some pictures, so this is where it all comes back around. When we went to MrSealyp's cousin's wedding, so one of her cousins from the Lake District, who was in the army, became a police officer. It's his wedding, so we go to his wedding, and at his wedding is his best friend in all the world, a guy called Kurt. And MrSealyp says to me, I've known Kurt, obviously, and David, but I've known Kurt since he was about 5. She said, when I used to come up to the Lake District on my holidays, when I was a kid, in the summer, Kurt would be knocking around with David all the time. They'd be having a great old time. I've known Kurt forever. He's a lovely bloke. Kurt's married with children of his own, so we get to meet Kurt and his wife Becca. The guy is just a legend, salt of the earth guy, really nice. I got in like a house on fire with him. Brilliant guy. His wife, lovely, kids, fantastic. Awesome time. Turns out Kurt owns a big engineering company. Built it from scratch, worked his way up, worth a few quid, you know, the company. I mean, I suppose him as well. But you would never know he was a wealthy guy. He's just Kurt, just a lovely bloke. So his wife Becca comments on MrSealyp's one of MrSealyp's pictures about going to the Harry Potter place, and said they took their daughter many years ago, who was a big Harry Potter fan, and she really didn't enjoy it at all because she was a young kid, I mean, but obsessed with Harry Potter. When they said they were taking her, she thought she was going to Hogwarts. She believed it was all real. She was a child, and it was that feeling of reality to it all. So yeah, conversation ensues that evening. We're sitting with, you know, watching a bit of telly, and MrSealyp says to me, "You're not going to believe this." So I said, "What?" She said, "Kurt and Becca have bought a brewery." So I laughed and I said, "Really?" So I said, "That's fantastic." My brain starts ticking into YouTuber mode. Oh, you imagine going and do some videos, live streams, a blog or something of a brewery. I mean, how cool would that be? That'd be awesome, you know. Link it to farming and talk about what's going on, that kind of stuff. That's really cool. So literally, and you see where this is going. So then 5 minutes later, she says to me, "Oh my days." I said, "What?" So they've bought the Jennings Brewery. I said, "What do you mean they've bought the Jennings Brewery?" I said, "They can't have bought the Jennings Brewery. Marston's own it." Well, they've bought it back from Marston's. But not just bought the brewery from Marston's, they've bought all of it. They bought the IP, they've everything. So they own the rights to the name, they own the recipes, the lot. They bought the brewery back. So Kurt's wife Becca is on the phone chatting to MrSealyp by message or whatever, how they're talking, and said, "We are bringing Jennings back to Cumbria. We're going to reopen. They've got a guy there as a managing director. They've just appointed, or they've just got a head brewer. We're bringing Jennings back to the Lake District." And I said to MrSealyp, I said, "I can't get my head around the fact that 30 years we've been married. 30 years ago we went the first time to Jennings Brewery. We've done many tours there over the years, and now we know the people that own Jennings Brewery." How insane is that? How utterly nuts is that? Did I just drive past the... Anyway, so I said to MrSealyp, "Oh, you've got to speak to Becca and Kurt and say, look, we'd love to come and visit. We would absolutely love to come and have a look round, and, you know, like I say, because they know what I do. We talked about it a lot when we met them at the wedding. I'd love to go and do some videos, do a vlog and do a live stream maybe." So it's not open yet, they're not up and running yet, but we're going to go and visit. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. And it's not just because I know someone that owns a brewery, it's that they're bringing back an industry, they're bringing back Jennings, it's coming back alive, you know. It's a success story, you know. It's that kind of a victory for the little guy kind of thing. And so I said straight away, "You've got to tell them they've got to start brewing Snack Lifter again." And Becca messaged MrSealyp back and said, "You know what, you would be amazed how many people have said that already. How many people have said, you've got to bring it back." Yeah, I mean, it is awesome news. It's fantastic. It's such a great story. And also I think to be able to go up there, if I get to do whatever I get to do in any capacity, looking round, I said to MrSealyp, I'd happily work there. I would happily go and work there. To even in some small way be a part of that story, the story of the brewery, I just think that's incredible. I know it was a long-winded story. You know what I'm like, I tell stories, that's what I do. But I just think that's phenomenal. I'd love it. But to be able to go and chat to them about the hops and malt and I know that it used to be Challenge. Was it Challenger and Fuggles hops, and they had hops from Kent, Hertfordshire, which, where I come from. Where was the other one? Anyway, there's all sorts of stuff, but yeah, it's awesome. It's absolutely, and they're going to watch the video necessarily because they wouldn't necessarily know. But my hat is off to Kurt and Becca. It's awesome what you've done, what you're doing. It's brilliant. It's phenomenal. You're bringing it back, and that is wow. Honestly, that's just incredible. So yeah, that's today's story. As I've been doing this bit of farming, I'm going to have to move that harvester on. I know I'm going across this crop. It's fine. Actually, is this the contract that we came up? I think it is for the spinach. I don't think I'm going to take that on that harvest contract. I just thought, how long have I been chatting for? Quite some time. And this is another one. This is going to take me quite some time. We've got a lot to do here. Let's jump in this. I'm going to have to get a... Do I lease... I need to double check actually what size bales I'm doing. I think the bale, is it auto load, auto stack? There we go. If we have a look in here and come down to, there we go, bale transport. That's the square, that's the round, 50 grand. Are we going to like you to do a lot more bales, or should I just lease it? It does 125 and 180s. I'm sure that 240s are 11,000 litres, aren't they? What I need to do while that's unloading. Disconnect that. Oh, I've got a lot of gear here. But again, I'm pleased that I'm using some bigger stuff. Oh, I should have just waited. I'm jumping the gun. I'm going to check that, because if it is 180s I'm doing, I think it might be. They seem a little bit too big to be 125s. If they're 240s, I'm in trouble, because I don't think I can pick them up. That'll be a bit of a nuisance, wouldn't it? I think we're empty on the harvester. Let's get that out of the way. I need to get another round. I mean, I can't go over. This is going to take so long. So never mind. It's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I'm smiling like a Cheshire cat. I'm having a great old time. This is the scale of farming I couldn't do on Riverbend. And then again, I haven't got all the gear I need yet. This is the only, I say not the only tractor, I've got the other one, but the other one's really small. The other one is only going to be for doing fertilising and spraying herbicide, that kind of stuff. Let me just check something. On the standard one. Oh yeah, 125s. It only does 125s. Oh, that's a fair, because I know this does slightly larger bale sizes. I didn't even think to look. Oh yeah, we're good. Only does 125s. I should have just looked at the menu. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Anyway, not to worry. So what we'll do, we'll lease that. 2575, cool. And I can use that later on. Brilliant stuff. Right, let's let that harvester get cracking on. I'll get some more baling done. I'll see you in a minute. And then what we'll do is, I think, to end the episode, I'll grab the first full load of round bales. This is going to take a little while to get around here. And we'll get those taken over to the bale and pallet storage. Just line that up. Get the work going again. And I'll follow along behind. Whoa. Let's do it. Right, see you in a bit. I decided I'm going to come back to the baling situation in the next episode. Don't worry, I haven't bought this. Look at the contracts. The contracts have gone nuts. Look at all the harvesting ones. But they're all like spinach, green beans, peas, parsnips, carrots. Well, we have got a harvester, but what I have done is taken on that cultivating job. 106 grand on field 6, one of the fields that we harvested of canola. So I'm going to get a worker cracking on that, and I just thought at least that way we need a bigger tractor. I mean, I need something this sort of scale. Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? But they're pricey. So I'm just thinking, because once we've done our harvest and we've done our baling, and I think it's going to be too many bales. So I think what we might have to do is bale some of it and then forage wagon some of it and put it into the silo maybe. I'm just thinking, yep, you just don't worry about it. Yep. I think we might have to do that, potentially. Let's go into the field and open this out. But yeah, we're definitely going to need some something a little bit bigger. I suppose that potentially I could, yeah, thinking about it, I wonder if we could go back over to Riverbend and borrow the class from Walter. It's a big bit of kit, isn't it? We could do a bit of work to it, and we could bring it up to the full horsepower, couldn't we? Bring it over in the horsepower configuration it's in, and then do it. That might be an option. Let's hire a worker, see where he's going to end up going. Because I'm curious. Probably middle of the field first, then crack on. I don't mind how he goes about it. It makes no difference. And again, look at the size of the tractor. Look at the size of the cultivator. It's a big field. That's why it's paying what it's paying. But another 106 grand. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll pick up a couple of contracts. We're not going to be short of work to do, let's be honest. And that's the thing. When I said about the first episode about is this a viable farm, it's why I was coming over. It is viable, but it's a lot of work. And I think that's the thing about this. Yeah, you have to go really big. If you want to speed up getting the fields done, again, because we don't have super speedy equipment and all that kind of stuff, if we're going to keep it as realistic as far as the equipment and machinery that's available, sort of base game, even some of the modded stuff, but more reality than 125 mile an hour, 50 metre wide headers, that kind of stuff. If we're going to keep it fairly normal, even going big is still going to take a lot of time without multiple pieces of equipment. But anyway, that's where we're at. I've told a tale today, which is great. That's what I love doing, and it is awesome news. It is an awesome tale, and I'm over the moon. But anyway, that's the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.